So we are doing all the things. We will go ahead and let's let some people in and chat while we're waiting. Seems I still haven't figured out the music. I know. We need some good music going on in the waiting room, and I'm just not there yet.
More like spending time learning how to do it.
Say hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
There's the reinforcements.
Okay, the ones that get moonshine, just drop them off a bottle of moonshine.
Oh, yes.
I like this conversation.
He's delivering moonshine today. And
rugs.
And
Jam.
the berries. Yep, the jam.
So the ones that just say moonshine, you want to put a tag on them or something?
No, it says it right on there.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Dad.
Yep.
He's Santa. Maybe you should grab a Santa hat. I'm just kidding. You're fine.
He's like, one more thing, Wendy.
I know. He's like, okay. I draw the line.
That's not okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You look great.
Smile for the ring doorbells. Love you, Dad.
I will.
All right. Happy Tech Tuesday. Welcome to the call. Today is going to be big because I have my BFF, Stacey McVey, on the call, going to talk to us about 12-week year. So I actually downloaded the audiobook and started my cramming session right before this call, because that's what I do. Because I kind of know what it is, and I've heard a lot about it, and I know a lot of people do it, and it works really well. So when I got reminded that Stacey does this 12-week plan with agents, I was like, okay, we're doing it. Let's go. So anyway, she's going to tell us all about it. And hopefully everybody will have a really good business plan in the next week or two from this call. Stacey, you got this.
Well, thanks. Do I have screen sharing privileges?
Yes, you do. I just switched it over. You are good to go.
Okay, good. Okay, so I have a question. How many of you, and let's use chat today because that makes me feel good. I can see that everybody's kind of doing stuff. And get ready with your little fingers. How many of you already have your 2024 annual plan locked and loaded and ready to go? Type in chat. Are you ready to go? Let's see it. Debbie says, I do not. Gotta love the person that's brave enough to get on there and go, nope, not me. Don't have it. Not there yet. Okay, Wendy
oh
says,
my gosh. Everybody is in the right place.
Says, nope. Sue says, only in my mind. Lauren says no. Amy says no. Holy mackerel, are you guys all in the right place today?
Right. We're just gonna late start on this.
It's okay, because even Yvonne, she's like, yep, nope. Tanya, nope. Okay, so here's what's important for you guys to realize. It's okay. And I think that planning too early actually shoots you in the foot. So if you're the person holding back because you didn't want to brag that you have your whole plan done, just know that sometimes when we plan too far in advance, we're not making the most of the opportunities that present themselves in the market, sometimes week by week. So we want to talk about that a little bit today. If you do have a plan or one from last year that you want to do kind of an autopsy on, I'm going to teach you a lot about how to set really powerful goals today. And I have a really special offer for all my friends at Tech Tuesday, and I'm super excited about it. So make sure you stay till the end, and we will get that to you. If you're watching it on recording, it's good for you too. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get cracking here. And let's see here. I want that one. I think Zoom keeps changing stuff around on me. Oh my goodness sakes. Okay, so let's go back to this beginning here. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool beans. All right. So we have in our mind what we want to happen in our business, and we often realize that there's a gap. And sometimes we realize there's a gap too late. And that's one of the perils of a 12-week year. So I really started this because even though I was teaching business planning clinics, my business plan wasn't really a point of leverage for me. It wasn't really doing much. I mean, I felt good because I had something written down, but I don't know that that really drove my activities. I don't know if anyone else has ever had that happen. And when I was doing 12-month planning, I was focused on what I wanted the outcome to be, but that planning didn't do a very good job of getting granular with what my daily activities were supposed to be. So, in a way, I was still kind of flying by the seat of my pants. There was this overarching target that I had, but I really had no way of knowing how I was going to get there. I didn't have a plan that was interactive, if you will. So, um, this really started with me sucking. And I was told to read The 12-Week Year by Don Hobbs. Some of you know Don Hobbs. Don Hobbs was like my first coaching call with Don Hobbs. I felt like I met a rock star. And I was invited to the call by a friend of mine. And he said, you know, you really need to go read this book because you're not going to hit your goals unless you change the way you do your business planning. And when I read the book, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a reader and I'm always really good at pulling out how that applies to me as a real estate agent. But as I started sharing the 12-week year with other people, they were reading the book and they're like, this sounds great, but I don't know how to apply it to real estate. So that was how I came to write the class. I've been teaching it for, I think, 4 years now. And it was really helpful during COVID where we couldn't predict what was going to happen. Were we going to be able to stay open? How our business would change? How our activities were going to change? So we really road tested it through, I think, what we could all consider to be some of the most challenging years our real estate industry has seen in a long time. So I guess in short, what I'm saying is this shit works. Okay. So get ready, have something to write on. The QR code leads to my online store where you can register for the 12-week year masterclass. That's going to start next week. Spoiler alert, we're giving it to you for free. We're giving it to you for free. All you got to do is spend your time. I charge $149 for it. And Wendy has helped me so much in so many ways. I'm like, I can do this for your Tech Tuesday people. Get them in my masterclass. Next Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 hours each day, 12 to 2 Eastern, will be recorded if you can't be to all of it. I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be awesome. So that's what that QR code is. If you want to scan that, or I think Joanna's going to put it in chat for you.
And you got to use Tech Tuesday code for the free.
You got to use the code Tech Tuesday. That's exactly right. Joanna, can you put that in chat for me?
I'm putting it in right now.
All right. So I bring this up because it's such a silly thing. And it's like, what do you think you know for sure? So you know how Oprah's always like, here's what I know for sure, right? Well, there's just some things that we think we know for sure, but do we really? And I love to use the example of a banana. Okay. So how many of you peel it from the stem, the green part, the way on the right first? Put it in chat if you're a stem first or if you peel it from the bottom first. Are you a stem first or a bottom first person? What's the right way to peel a banana? Now, I was raised here in Northeast Ohio, and we would get bananas and they would be bright green when we would get them, you know, as a kid. And my grandmother taught me how to peel bananas. We would have sliced bananas for dessert all the time. Sliced bananas with a little bit of milk and a little bit of sugar. Okay. And we always peeled them this way. And it was a mess. And sometimes if it's not ripe, it doesn't pull down right. And it's like lots of reasons that doesn't work. But a lot of us still do it that way anyway. I didn't change the way I was doing it because it wasn't working well. I just kept doing it because everybody around me was doing it. Right? We've all had that experience with something. Then you come to find out, thank God for TikTok, right? We find out that peeling it from the little brown spot on the end, if you peel it that way, that's the way animals that eat bananas peel bananas. And they eat more bananas than I do. So I got to default here to the experts who say, you peel it from the bottom, it peels much easier. And that's the way a banana can be peeled in a more effective way. Now, in both cases, the banana gets peeled, but one is more effective and more efficient. There's less cussing involved with the way on the left. So all I'm asking you to say is, I know how to do a business plan. I know how to do an annual plan. I've got this. I'm asking you, begging you to try something different inside of your annual plan. Think of it like a little sprint, and let's talk about a 12-week year. Okay? So you're on an island in this business. Like, it's so easy to hide whether or not you're doing your activities. It's easy to hide. We like to hide behind our statistics and, oh, I sold 12 million in the last, 12 months, whatever. But really, it's easy to lie to yourself. And it's easy to get kind of stuck and overwhelmed because from day to day, we don't have repetitive tasks. Every one of our days is a different cocktail of chaos that shows up in our business. And then we're like, we lose track of what we're supposed to be doing. And this is where this can really help you. Okay. So goal achievement, this is a basic tenet of the book. Goal achievement is all about alignment. It's where you are now and where you ultimately want to be. Not where you want to be at the end of next year, not where you want to be at the end of next week, but where you ultimately want to be at the end of your career. Okay, this is a business you're growing. So we're going to start thinking about, oh, this isn't just my annual plan, and I'm just going to have these annual plans or these years, right? I have like a 1-year business, and then I start over in January with a different 1-year business, and it's not always aligned with where I'm going. It's not always aligned with my values. It's not always aligned with the challenges that I have currently in my life. Maybe I'm taking care of a parent. Maybe a relative of mine is sick or needs some extra help. Maybe my kids have just left for college, and so now my life looks different because I'm not driving a carpool all the time. There's all of these little things that can influence what you have as your goals, and they have to be in alignment with everything else going on in your world and where you ultimately want to go. So this is all about getting in alignment. If you attend the masterclass next week, you're going to find that we probably spend more time talking about long-term aspirations, where you're ultimately going, not to be confused with a big why, but ultimately where you're going. And we really work very hard to get you in alignment, because when your car is in alignment, the ride is really smooth, right? And when your car's not in alignment, it's like all over the place and the steering wheel's like this. Okay, there's a reason for that, right? Alignment is a good thing. There's smooth rails that we can run our business on. So we want to take time and slow down, make sure we have absolute clarity about our long-term aspiration. Where am I going? When I'm done being a real estate agent, when I've grown a profitable real estate business that is producing what I envision it to produce, what is next for me? Who is around me? Where do I live? Where do I vacation? How much passive income do I have coming in? What does my world look like? That's your long-term aspiration. Again, it's not a big why. I can't do big why. Big why is too big for me. It's too big for me. And then I'm like, oh, maybe my big why is just being an awesome mom to these really awesome kids that I have. And that's the biggest contribution I can make to the community. I don't know, but I get all wrapped up in big why. Long-term aspiration is very clear for me. Okay. So I mentioned these kids that I have 5 plus a bonus. So I have 6 boys and they all live somewhere else, right? I just have 1 left at home. I have 5 that are spread all over the country. So for me, my long-term aspiration is to be able to retire and spend time with each of them in large chunks of time, so I don't feel like I've lost my babies. Okay. I love spending time with my adult children. It's so much fun, and we want that life together. So in order to do that, I have to create a business that can fund that vision. Okay. That's something I'm very clear on. And then I back myself into that by setting some midterm goals. Well, if I want to do that in 10 years, here's where I need to be, you know, in the next 3 years. Here's where I need to be in the next 5 years. And that's something we work through in the masterclass. But if nothing else, please make sure that your goals for next year are completely in alignment with where you're ultimately going with your business. It's super important. Okay. This is another big one, and we go in depth on this, but I'll give you enough here that if this is all the exposure you get to this, it's okay. When you're writing goal statements, okay, and you're doing your goal planning, the first thing that I want you to do is make sure those goals are a complete sentence. And then when you read it, you get excited. It's empowering. I want to read it. I want to feel good about it. I want just the virtue of that goal statement being written the way it should be written should fire you up. There's leverage for you there. It doesn't cost you anything. It just takes a little bit of extra time. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So we've all been told about SMART goals, right? SMART, SMART goals. Specific, measurable, actionable. We have realistic, my least favorite word in the English vocabulary, and we have time bound. SMART. And when I look at agents write their goals out, it's like sell 34 houses. Well, A, that sounds daunting, and B, that's not empowering. I don't read that and get jazzed up, right? So you want to make sure that your goal statement checks every one of these boxes in a SMART goal. It's specific, so specific, in fact, that someone that has nothing to do with real estate would know what you're talking about. Okay, it can't just be a number on a spreadsheet, guys. It can't just be a number on a dry erase board. That's not enough. That's a great prompt and a reminder, but that's not a goal statement. So it needs to be specific. Measurable, here again, has to be so measurable that you can make a scoreboard for it. That's how measurable it needs to be. And that anyone outside our industry could look at that scoreboard and know whether or not you're winning. Okay, that's how measurable that goal needs to be. Actionable. Okay, this is something meaning I can take action and affect the outcome. It has to be something I can act on, something that I can influence, something that I can press the gas and something happens. I move forward. Okay, so actionable. The R has always, for the 33 years I've been in real estate, has been realistic. I want you to throw that word out the window. Realistic puts the biggest lid on your pot. You can't think in a growth-minded way if you're thinking realistically, because when you say realistic, your brain goes backwards and it goes, okay, what were we able to do last time? Okay, it's entirely based on whatever happened in the past. And I want you to throw that out the window, because that is a terrible gauge for what's realistic in the future. I don't know about you guys. I remember when I had my first month where I sold 3 houses in a month. 3. Okay. Now, back in those days, you hold yourselves down here. Don't get too excited. Our average sale price was $60,000. 60,000. Some of you have houses that you sell where that's the down payment. At those prices, we were selling them like hotcakes, but it was a hard grind. You had to do a lot of units because the average sale price was only $60,000. And I remember when I got my first 3 transaction month, and I thought I was going to die. I'm like, there's no way. I can't sustain this. I'm driving back and forth to the office. I'm like losing sleep. I'm worried I'm doing everything right. And it felt like a lot. Now, if I only have 3 transactions closing in a month, I feel like I'm like on my way to the poorhouse. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to die. Nothing's going on, right? There's cobwebs on my desk with 3 deals a month. So you grow into activity over time. But had you asked me back then, is it realistic to do 10, 12, 15 transactions a month? I would have told you absolutely not. That was impossible for me. Okay, so staying realistic makes your brain go backwards. I want you to throw that out. I want you to replace it with relevant. How is this goal relevant? How is achieving this goal relevant? Okay. Does it allow you to invest more in your business, save more for retirement, put your kids through college without them having big loans? Whatever it is, how is the goal statement relevant to your vision for your life? What's it doing for you? Make sure your goal statement has something like that in that. And then last but not least, time bound, and that's easy. I think shorter timelines are better, right? You never get more done than when you're packing to leave for a trip where you're taking an airplane, right? You guys are massively productive during that time. And the reason is because it's easier to prioritize when you crunch the time down. There's leverage in crunching your year down to just 12 weeks and making that stand on its own. Okay, so time bound, shorten that time frame up when that goal statement is going to be done by, and just by doing that, you will see a big change in how you approach your goals and with your results. Again, we talked about alignment, and then last but not least, most people write goals around lag indicators. And a lag indicator in our business is something that shows up as a result of us doing our job. GCI and units. Those are two things that people measure in a business plan that they absolutely should not be measuring in a business plan. You should be measuring what we call lead indicators. These are the things we have control of. How many contacts I'll make, how many conversations I'll have, how many appointments I'll run, how many listings I will take, how many contracts I will write. Those are lead indicators. How many leads will I put into my database? Things like that. So write your goals around lead indicators, and the lag indicators will take care of themselves. I promise. Okay? So you need to do that. We're going to work through all that next week, but it is an absolute game changer, and it makes your business plan actionable. It makes it so that it's a blueprint for how you do your business day over day, week over week. Okay, so that can help a great deal. So I want to make sure you guys look at your goal statements, make sure it checks every box of being a SMART goal. It's aligned with where you ultimately want to go, and it's focused on lead indicator activities. Okay, super important. And according to the 12-week year, 2 business goals, 1 personal. That's it. For 12 weeks, we're only working on 2 goals for our business. And I would argue for a real estate agent, 1 will always be contracts written, number of contracts written, okay? But you just have those, and then a personal goal for yourself. That's it. You're giving yourself a break here, okay? We're just going to follow a path forward. And we're going to do, instead of all of the things in a half-assed way, we're going to choose 2 things that we're all in on, and something personal that we can be all in on. Okay, because we want to live that life where it feels like we're making progress in all the right areas. Okay, so that's huge. You get this right, and your plan will do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Okay, you really want those ambitious, relevant goals. Toss out realistic. Doesn't matter. If you choose something realistic, what do you really have to change? You're just doing more of the same stuff. Okay? That's not a plan for success. So you want to be ambitious about it. I'm going to give you an example. If I want to go from my couch to running a 5K, that takes very little change on my part. I could probably do it without too much preparation, without doing too much research, without buying new shoes. I could probably just ask the people around me, like, hey, have you ever run a 5K? What do I need to know, right? However, if I'm going to go from being a couch potato to running a marathon, that's going to require a lot more on my part, a lot more growth, a lot more resources. I'm going to need some new shoes. I don't even know how to buy the shoes that would carry my ass 26.2 miles, but I'm going to need an expert to tell me what they are. I'm going to need to know what to eat. I'm going to need to know how to deal with my reluctance to running, and I live in a cold climate. I mean, there's so much I have to know and so much I need to learn. My growth is going to be exponential during marathon training compared to somebody who's training to do a 5K. That makes total sense, right? It's the same thing with your goals. Stop setting these couch to 5K type goals that really don't require all that much. Think about running a marathon in your business and what that looks like. What has to change? What skills do I need to learn? Who do I need to identify in my world that can start to take some of this little stuff off my plate so I can focus on the big stuff that I'm really good at? Okay, so think about really challenging yourself to ditch the word realistic. I hate that word. I just hate it. All right, the next thing with a 12-week year, learn to love your peas, not the kind your mom made you eat, okay? But planning and prioritization. We're going to talk about this next week again, but knowing when to plan and knowing how to prioritize. We get all wrapped up in this stuff that feels important and it seems like it's so urgent, and I spend my day putting out all those fires and still I haven't done anything to grow my pipeline. Okay, everything that we should be doing this month is all about building 2024 pipeline. Everything. If you're not working just tirelessly to build your pipeline for next year, you're missing it, because there's a bunch of us who are. Okay, your people are thinking about moving. You think they're not, they are. They just haven't told you yet. They're wondering what they can do with their equity. They're wondering if they should buy a college rental for junior who's going off to college. They have all sorts of questions. The problem is they're not asking you. And to do that, we need to avail ourselves. We need to have activities planned around starting those conversations and making sure we have them consistently. And when we're not good at planning and when we're not good at prioritization, it's rare that enough of those conversations show up, and it's showing up in your numbers. Okay, so these P's are very important. They're very important. I'm going to throw this at you. Top 10 book that I would recommend all realtors read, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Phenomenal. You can go to YouTube, type in James Clear, Atomic Habits. You'll see a ton of interviews with him. Fellow Buckeye from Ohio, proud to say. And he says, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Okay. So we need to, once we establish these goals, we're going to build some systems, some tactics that we execute to ensure we make those goals a reality. All right. So I'm going to give you some effective strategies for executing your tasks. Okay. And this really is something that if you slow down and you teach yourself, it's going to make a big difference in how you attack your day. Number one, identify personalized high impact tactics and prioritize them. So what do I mean by personalized? Well, some of you love making cold calls. The vast majority of you do not. So don't put something on your 12-week year that says, I'm going to, cold call 50 people. If that's something you're not going to do, don't even bother. Don't even waste your time. There's a reason I don't talk about cold calling scripts on any of my coaching calls. Because if I ask and I'm like, all right, you have to be 1,000% honest with me on this, how many of you are going to cold call every single day? And very rarely do very many hands go up. Okay, it just doesn't happen. So I'm like, great. How about we acknowledge that and find something that you will do? Okay, low friction for you that you can do. So like Wendy's got her dad going out, dropping off Popeyes. That's easy. She gets excited planning that shit. She gets all excited about it. You see the pictures go on Facebook. She's talking about it. You can even just tell the way she talks about it. She's all excited. That's something that's very likely to be consistent and sustainable for her. So identify what will be consistent and sustainable for you, that if you have to wrap up the cadence on it, it's okay because you enjoy it. You get energy from it. And then you want to prioritize those activities. Number 2, break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. If you have on your business plan to finally set up your database, you're in for a real treat because you haven't broken that down into enough steps. Okay, there's a ton of steps required to onboard onto a new CRM. And the reason most agents fail, they haven't planned for that. There's no ramp for them to get on the CRM superhighway. Okay, they know they need it, but they don't know what the steps are. When you plan it out, then you can look at it and you can say, okay, how can I go faster? This is a lot. I don't know all this. I don't want to spend all this time to learn all this shit. So who do I know that can help me go faster? My go faster person, I have 2. I'm very lucky this way. I have Wendy and I have Liz Brown. Those are my 2 go faster people. If I want to know how to master something and it's in their wheelhouse, they show me how to go faster. So when I'm trying to implement anything, rather than, I can absolutely spend the time to research it myself and watch all the YouTube tutorials myself, but I don't get paid enough to do that. Okay, I get paid to produce stuff, to interact with humans. That's my highest dollar per hour activity. So if I can find a human to help me go faster, I'm going to do it. But first, I need to know what I'm trying to do so I can go out and identify those people, identify those resources, and I can implement. I promise you, if you just go slow in the beginning and plan it out, and I am not a planner, I am not, but I do like to go fast. So I understand now that I got to go slow in the beginning to go fast. So I would strongly suggest that to you. And then track your progress and adjust as needed. Okay. The beautiful thing about a 12-week year is we're getting instant feedback on how we're doing, and we can turn the dials if we need to. On a 12-month plan, usually the time I figure out that I'm screwing up is June. And I'm like, oh shit, now how am I going to cover this gap? Okay. My spring wasn't what I thought it was. So now I'm behind. How am I going to close the gap? And I used to do sprints. Okay. I used to do like a 6-week sprint or a 3-week sprint or something like that, where I would just really ramp up my lead gen out of nowhere. The problem was there was a better way to do it. I just didn't know it. And that's a 12-week year. Okay. So all I'm going to tell you is have a plan and find your tribe, find your people, find the people that are doing the same things. Okay. That have the same types of ambition. Okay. You can help each other. All right. A word to the wise here, you're going to struggle. Okay, this is not like a handful of pixie dust that I can sprinkle on your desk and magically everything just happens. It's not that. You're going to struggle with some things when you do your 12-week year. First of all, time management and prioritization are going to be tough because we have a business that makes everything look like it needs to be handled right now. Right now, the lender just called me 3 times in a row, right? I got to do it right now, right now, right now, right now. So time management and prioritization is something you're going to have to learn to master in order to make this work for you. The second is dealing with setbacks and unexpected circumstances. Again, it just makes prioritization difficult. And very frankly, sometimes the setbacks really drain our battery. So you need to have ways that you can help yourself be resilient in what's a pretty challenging market right now and for the foreseeable future. Staying motivated and focused can be tough. 12-week year will definitely help with that, especially with the focus, but also with the motivation. And I think one of the best motivators is to be on some sort of skin in the game call or have some accountability of some sort, because that will help you stay motivated. You know, it also helps you feel human, because sometimes people show up to the call and they're like, I jacked that up yesterday. And it's like, hey, what happened? And then, you know, the team gathers around, and before you know it, you know, your problem has gone from feeling this big down to this big, and it's something that you can tackle. Time blocking and creating a conducive work environment can be really difficult for real estate agents. We help you there. Developing a positive mindset and practicing self-care, huge part, guys, of staying resilient. We talk about that a great deal next week. Cultivating discipline and resilience, celebrating small wins and milestones. Celebrating the small wins is big. You want to be able to shut your business down, just like the little shopkeeper does. We have a bakery over here and he closes at 4:00 every day and he's there at, I think, 4 in the morning, and he gets to throw his open sign up and then he gets to flip the sign in the window when he's closed. Do you close your business in the evening? Are you present for your family? How in the world do you create a business where you can do that and look back on the day and feel like, even if I didn't write a contract, I made progress. I can be proud of this. I can see myself moving forward. So if you're ever struggling with that, that's something we can help with too. And then staying committed and accountable to your goals. Commitment is a life stance. Brian Moran talks about it in the book. Commitment is something that you will not sleep until that's done. And if you're not choosing tactics and activities that you're that committed to, that right there is a problem. Okay, so choosing the right goal that's in alignment with your values, choosing the right tactic that you're going to do, the action that you're going to take that speaks to you, that's way easier to stay committed to. Okay, so staying committed and accountable to your goals can be tough, and the 12-week year will absolutely help you with that. So remember, the obstacle is the way. Ryan Holiday, recommend this book all day long. The obstacle is the way. So all of the things that you're looking at that are overwhelming you or that you keep putting to the back burner, those are the things that you will have to implement at a high level to have a very profitable real estate business. This is your way to start tackling those things without sacrificing productivity in the meantime. Okay, so identifying those things that are holding you back, finding yourself in a place where you have people that will help you move forward. That's a huge part of moving past these obstacles. And when you start to move past these obstacles that are in your path, guess what? All of a sudden that realistic or what seemed unrealistic seems possible and you can move forward. So we're going to help you there too. Here's the scoop. And then I'm going to open up for questions because I did a lot of yap, and I know you have some questions. I want you to feel comfortable to take some action today. And I'm offering the 12-week year masterclass. That's 6 hours of live training. We go all the way in. I'm going to give you a planner and a lot of tools I use. One of those tools that I use is my kick-ass to-do list. This is a whole program for figuring out what you need to be doing each and every day to kind of cut down on that overwhelm. There's a lot of tools like that I'm going to give out next week. Typically it's $149 and it's 100% off for you guys in Tech Tuesday. This is my way of saying thank you to Wendy. So now you can thank Wendy because without her, I wouldn't do this. But use the code Tech Tuesday and you want the master class, and we would love to have you in there. We'd love to have you in here. I'll take you through it step by step. And yes, it's recorded. So if you can only, take part in some of it, that's okay. We got your back. You'll be able to take part in the recording and you'll still get the resources. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
You got a couple questions. What are the 10 books?
You want my 10?
I'm just saying what's in the chat.
You want my 10 books? Let's see if we can get to 10. 10X is easier than 2X, one of my favorites. Thanks to Wendy. Go Pro would be at the top of my list. I love that book. Oh my gosh. Atomic Habits. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Daily Stoic. The Untethered Soul is a good one. That was recommended to me probably almost 20 years ago now, and I've given that book away to so many people. That's 6. 12-week year, obviously, on there.
Winning is a good one.
Winning is a good one. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Incredible book. Let me see. I'm
Gap in the
looking
Gain.
for The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron would be my other one.
Gap in the Gain. Who Not How.
Yep, that's all by Benjamin Hardy, right?
I know, I'm obsessed with him.
I'm obsessed with it too. The Mountain is You is a good one. There you go. I love that.
Awesome. Okay, so there was a question up here and I was gonna.
It wasn't a book recommendation.
It wasn't books. It wasn't books. Well, there's the code. Da, da, da. Shoot, I missed it. Can you guys raise your hands if you have a question?
Tuesday, all lowercase.
Oh, I
I'll
did
put
all
it in
uppercase and it also worked. So that's
Okay.
good. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, everybody's just putting their books in. Yay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for Stacey? And the times next week were, you said 12 to 2, EST?
Eastern. Yep.
Okay.
Stacey, any chance that we can get your amazing to-do list now so that we can kind of start playing around with it and get a jump start? Pardon?
Booger. It's not the same until you take the
No,
class.
okay, then that's fine. No, I totally, yeah.
Sarah wants to be ahead of the class.
I do. I like to be already start working out my own kinks so that I come with okay, this isn't working for me. How does it, yeah. How can I do better at it?
It's so good. And you will see, if you're a reader, you will see echoes of a lot of this stuff from 12-week year, and 10x is better than 2x in Atomic Habits in my material. So you'll love it. I'm also a huge Tim Ferriss fan. 4-Hour Workweek, that has to be in the top 10 books of all time for people to read. And I have my version of Tim Ferriss's not to-do list too. So I will put links
4-hour work week
in your group.
That's awesome. I want a 4-hour work week.
I'm telling you, I still use tactics from the 4-hour work week all this time, and it's incredible. Like I can't tell you. You need to read that book if you haven't read it. It's an oldie now, but it's definitely a goodie.
Oh,
His podcast is kick-ass too, by the way. If you're a podcast person, Tim Ferriss podcast.
For the 12-week year. So in your workshop thing, you're going to be giving us stuff to fill out, right? Or do we order the book, or what do we?
Yeah, can I be honest? I want Brian Moran to make as much money as possible because he brought the idea to the forefront, and I love that. But if you read the book, sometimes it's hard to extrapolate from the book how to deploy it in a real estate business. It was really written with insurance and financial planners in mind because those were his clients at the time. So if all you did was do a little YouTube snooping instead of reading the book, you would be fine. You could show up to the class not knowing anything about the 12-week year, and I'll take you start to finish. And I do give all my materials. So when we're done next week, you will have a plan for exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it, and a scoreboard that you can track your progress. So I'm going to make it stupid easy.
Awesome. Okay. So very good. That's exciting. I'm excited to get my stuff together next week and have a better plan. Because I have plans. I just don't have them in writing.
Well, I feel like we have, by the end of next year, I want to make this much or sell this many houses. But what you're not planning are the days and weeks that become the months that total that year. And the other thing that people do that they forget is they don't look at, oh, I'm taking a trip for my anniversary in July. Oh, I'm losing a week here because I'm going to go visit the grandkids and see, look, all of these things. And I have an annual planner for you to do that, so you can see how much time you actually are going to have to work in your business. And it will make your jaw hit the floor when you see how much time you really have versus how much you think you have on an annual plan. So we're using all of these things so that you're not so blind to what's going on. You know, I think there's a disproportionate number of people in real estate that may at times exhibit ADHD tendencies. Okay. We're entrepreneurs. We love the variety. We're naturally attracted to a business like this. And we have time blindness. You know, you ever notice when you go busy, like the month it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, what happened? Like every day doesn't feel like the same day. Like sometimes days feel long and sometimes they feel like, you know, what happened? You know, I looked up yesterday, it was 6:30. I'm like, oh shoot, I got to make dinner for the kiddo. Like I totally lost track of time. And that happens to us not only on a daily basis, but happens within a year. And we're like, oh geez. You know,
I don't cook.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome. And I do have all my vacations written down for next year. That's as far as I've gotten with my business planning.
It's where you should start. Can I just?
I'm like, okay, we definitely got to put those in.
Start there. What do I want my life to look like next year? Like, what do we have going on? Who's graduating? Who's getting married? Are we taking a family trip with all the kids? You know, and just scheduling what you want your life to look like. Like there was I'll post it if I can find it, but someone put up on TikTok, like, here's the days to schedule off next year to get the most amount of vacation around holidays. And I was like, that's brilliant, because I'm in a life partnership with a human that has, you know, he's one of those W-2 people who has to clock in, clock out, and count his vacation days. And so I said, we got to plan our vacations around this calendar so we can maximize all the time you can get off. So I screenshotted it. I'll share it in the group under this recording, but it was really eye-opening. So yeah, plan the vacations first, plan the fun first. And then
you got to work on what you need to do to be able to do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Absolutely.
I knew there was a method to my madness. You just had to tell me that.
Right? You're just genius that way.
No, I just have to so that Joanne can plan accordingly, because we kind of accidentally took the same days off last year during EXPCon. Huge mistake. And I don't even know how that happened, because it didn't get in the calendar, you know, and that was my fault. That was my fault. So
yeah.
Anyway,
and I just
not happening next year.
I want you to think about this too. And I want to leave you with this thought. You know, growth isn't just about what happens, you know, as a result of you learning a new skill or whatever. Growth really does come from the people you hang around, you know. And I'm looking at the comments, and, you know, I said, you're a genius. And, you know, someone said, yes, she is. And I interact with people all the time that work with Wendy and think the same thing. And when you level up the people around you, it's an absolute game changer. I said no to making the switch to coming to EXP for 4 years. And
I said no for 5.
Yeah. And I came for the people, because I wanted to level up my people. Yes, like we could talk about all the other stuff, but I made a move because I love those people. The coaching that I take part in is because of the people and what they call on me to become. And it's in line with my values and where I want to go. So give yourself the gift of pruning your little chosen family tree and plugging in the right people this year. Plan your vacations and fun first. Give the 12-week year a try. I promise you, it's a complete game changer. Complete game changer.
Thank you. Love it. Okay, so a couple things in the chat. The her stand store is in there that has Tech Tuesday all together for the code. That'll get you the class for free. Thank you for that. And then there is another link in there. If you guys haven't if you haven't filled it out for the replay of Text Tuesday, please fill it out. We will make sure we get those out to you. And then all the links will be in the email too, just in case you didn't get them written down. And then, yeah, so we're going to start, we're going to switch gears here in a minute. If nobody has any questions, we're going to head into the VIP room and work on street text ads bundles. So, if you I know. And we're like really going to be building the bundles.
Can I just tell you, okay, so this is totally unsolicited. So Wendy kept yapping about this street text thing. I'm just telling you. And I was like, whatever, like that's not my thing. I've never done that. That sounds hard. You guys anyone else like listen to someone go on and on about something? You're like, that's good for you. You're techie or whatever. People, I am here to tell you that we have gotten over 400 leads, 400 in the last 3 months from street text. Come on now. Like there's nothing else I could have done. But to do that, you need to have the systems behind it, which Wendy has the secret sauce. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you? So she helps me go fast. So if she can help you go fast for Wendy, what do you charge for VIP? I think it's stupid low. And I told her to charge like 10 times more than that, but she didn't.
It's $49 a month. So you get 4 like deep dives after each Tech Tuesday, sometimes 5, sometimes there's 5 Tuesdays. So we just kind of dive in and, help people actually push the buttons and do the things, because a lot of people will come to trainings all day long and they know their shit because they're constantly learning, but they don't implement. So it's more of an implementation part of Tech Tuesday, because that's super important to do. And then it is 20% off for your first month this month if you use TT code. So anyway.
No kidding. So it was Dean Graziosi said this yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, that's so true. And he was saying, write a check to go faster. Be willing to write a check to go faster, because most of us don't know what our hourly rate is. So we think nothing of trying to spend an entire afternoon to figure out how to fucking do something in Canva or whatever, right? And you're like, I'm going to figure this out myself, and it's like, you need to pay money to go faster. So with my hourly rate, Wendy, that's like, if she can save me 10 minutes a month, it's worth the $47. 10 minutes a month. If Wendy could save for me, that would be a deal. So that's a no-brainer, right? That's a green light expense. I love it.
Okay. So I just put it in the chat. That's the one we use for the 20% off Tech Tuesday code, TT, right there. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to head over there. Thank you again, Stacey, for being on the call. I love that she cusses.
I love you.
She's definitely my tribe, so sorry if nobody likes the cussing, but it makes me smile. Anyway, so next, okay, we have a full month for December. Next week, Lisa Pinder is going to be on talking about the CMA drop-off. So she does it in like a mind-blowing way. I know last week we were on a call, me and Stacey, and
we're like,
Lisa Pinder, she's like, yeah, I have 500 CMA drop-offs to do this weekend. It's like, wait, what? 500? Yeah. We are all thinking small. She's got a plan and she's going to tell us all about it. So that's exciting. And then we're going to do ads on a budget, because Street Text will now have a budget you can set. And then it will notify you if you go over, so you can turn your ads off or whatever. So we're going to be talking about that and how to utilize that. And then they actually have 2 more features that are rolling out. They're going to let me put on my Tech Tuesday. So don't miss that. And then the 26th, My Genius Leads, super cool tool that I'm learning right now. And I can't wait to tell you all about it. So those are the Tech Tuesdays for December. We are going to end this year with a bang. And have an amazing week. I will see you in the VIP room, I hope.
Wait, they're saying the TT doesn't work.
Yeah, use this Stand Store one. Stand Store. Because the first one I put on was through the Stripe, and I don't think I set the code up. So try it through the Stand Store one. That should be working. Because I know it just worked for that the one we got signed up yesterday.
Perfect.
So Claire, the TT isn't working on the Stand Store link. This discount is invalid. Okay, let me work on that. Keep the link on your thing, and then I'll post when I fix it. I have 6 minutes to fix it. All right, thank you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.